Provided by the Air Products Foundation. The foundation is supported by donations from Air Products and Chemicals Incorporated as a charitable organization whose contributions provide support for educational, cultural, health, and community programs in the Lehigh Valley. The series is also made possible by Channel 39 School Services participating districts.
WLVT-TV presents Scholastic Scrimmage, a weekly program featuring teams from Lehigh Valley High Schools in a contest of quick recall. Tonight's teams are from Liberty High School and Louis E. Dieruff High School. Your host for Scholastic Scrimmage is Harry Price.
Good evening and welcome to Scholastic Scrimmage. We'll meet the teams and the coaches, then we'll begin the contest. From Liberty High School, Christopher Ware, a sophomore. Mason Webb is a senior. The captain is Jeffrey Hittinger. Jeffrey is a senior. Jonathan Troutman is a freshman. And the coach is Joe Williams, teacher of mathematics. From Allentown's Dieruff High School, Gary Plessel, a senior. Dana Lair, the captain, is a senior. Erica Olander is a sophomore. Eric Tesh is a senior. And the coach is Melissa Bell, teacher of English. Channel 39 is pleased to announce that at the conclusion of the series, after the championship contest, the Air Products Foundation will present a $1,500 scholarship award to the championship team and a $750 scholarship award to the runner-up team. Both awards will be given in the names of the Scholastic Scrimmage teams. Remember, the answers to the questions on Scholastic Scrimmage require rapid recall of factual information and aren't necessarily indicative of academic training. The rules for the contest are as follows. On toss-up questions, you'll be given 10 points for a correct answer, and 10 points will be deducted for an incorrect response. If you answer incorrectly, then the opposing team will have an opportunity to answer the question without penalty, and they'll receive 5 points for a correct answer in this situation. Of course, each correct answer to a toss-up question gives you the opportunity to answer a bonus question without penalty. Team members may confer only on the bonus questions, and the answers to these questions should be given to me by the two team captains. A buzzer will signal the end of the contest. If it sounds while a question is being asked, the game stops. The buzzer goes off while you're answering. You will be permitted to complete your answer, but no bonus questions will be asked. Are there any questions? If not, we'll begin with our first toss-up. For which modern-day country is Gaul the ancient name? Dieruff, Erica.
France.
Correct. And here's your bonus, a 15-pointer. Dana, you give me the answers and you may confer. For 5 points each, give me the name or words for each of the following concerning France. The first is the title of the national anthem. It's Les Marseillaises. Second, the national motto in French. Again, no response. It's liberté, égalité, and fraternité. Liberty, equality, and brotherhood. The Germanic tribe after which France was named. It's Erica. You'll have to give it.
The Franks. The Franks.
You are correct. I didn't know whether you said the France. It was hard to hear you. Just speak up a little bit. And remember, all participants, you should give your answers to the team captain. Second toss-up. Here we go. Looking at a 10-point bonus. Name the civil rights organization known by the initials NAACP. Liberty, Mason.
The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Correct. And your bonus, a 10-pointer. For 5 points each, Jeffrey, I want you to identify each of the following. The first one, the college organization whose initials are NCAA.
National Collegiate Athletic Association.
Jeffrey.
National Collegiate Athletics Association.
Correct. The sports organization known as the AAU.
No response.
Jeffrey, no response. It's the Amateur Athletic Union. You got 5 out of a possible 10. Again, looking at a 10-point bonus. Here's your toss-up. Name the affliction resulting from insufficient vitamin D, which leads to abnormal bone formation. Liberty, Christopher.
Ricketts.
Correct, Christopher. And your bonus, again, Jeffrey, for you and the team. For 10 points, what's the chemist's name for the process of gradually adding a base to an acid or vice versa?
Neutralization.
Jeffrey?
Neutralization.
No, it's titration we were looking for. Going for a 10-pointer, toss up. Mathematics. In which quadrant or quadrants are the values of the tangent and secant functions both negative? There's no response from either team. It would be the second quadrant. I think the tangent function is negative in the second and the fourth, the secant second and the third, so they're both negative in the second. Another toss-up. During one of the several trials in which he was a defendant, he said, "While there is a lower class, I'm in it. While there is a criminal element, I'm of it. While there is a soul in prison, I am not free." Name this late 19th, early 20th century American labor leader. That would be Eugene Debs. He was a socialist candidate for president 4 times. In fact, he might have run a 5th, but not as a socialist. Here's your toss-up, going for a 15-pointer. Identify the biblical word ending in I-N-E, which is today defined as a person considered to be smug and ignorant and lacking in and indifferent to artistic and cultural values. That would be Philistine or Philistine. Toss up. It's on the monitor. The French painting you're seeing there, that is the incorrect picture. There we go. We'll start over again. The French painting you're seeing there on the monitor is done in a style which is distinguished by charm, grace, and a light, free brush in a setting of languid, aristocratic alliance. What name is given to this 18th century style? That's a painting by Jean-Baptiste Joseph Pater, and Pater painted in the Rococo style. Another toss-up. When a baby wallaby stays with its mother, where exactly does it live until it can care for itself? Liberty, Jonathan.
In the pouch.
We accept that. In the mother's pouch. A wallaby is a baby or a small, not a baby kangaroo, but a small kangaroo. Here's your bonus, a 15-pointer, Jeffrey. 5 points each. Identify the group name for each of the following collections of animals. The first one, rabbits. Jeffrey?
Lagomorphs.
Incorrect. Second one, I'll give you the answer there. It's warren, a warren of rabbits. Second one, ants.
Colony.
Jeffrey?
Colony.
Correct. Cattle. Jeffrey?
Herd.
Correct on that also. You have 2 out of the 3 for 10. Name the largest city. Name the largest city in population in Latin America. That would be Mexico City. It has in the neighborhood of, it's got about 9 million in the city proper, 15 million in the metro area. Another toss-up. Between which 2 English royal houses was the War of the Roses fought? Liberty, Christopher.
The House of Lancaster and the House of York.
Correct. It was fought 1455 to 1485. Here's your bonus, a 10-pointer, Jeffrey, for you and the team. Name Shakespeare's 4 history plays which deal with the War of the Roses. Jeffrey.
No response.
According to most experts, these were the first 4 plays that Shakespeare wrote. He wrote them between 1590 and 1593, and it would be Henry VI, parts 1, 2, and 3, and Richard III, all dealing with the War of the Roses. Toss-up. On the monitor, mathematics. If x squared, there we go. That is correct, I'm sorry. If x squared plus 2x is equal to 189, as you see there, what is the value of the quantity x plus 1 squared? Liberty Mason.
188.
Incorrect. Dieruff, toss-up. No response from Dieruff. It would be 190. If you add 1 to the left member, you get the quantity x plus 1 squared, and 1 to the right member, of course. Go on to another toss-up, going for a 15-pointer. Land comprising what current U.S. state was added to the United States by the Adams-Onis Treaty? It was also called the Transcontinental Treaty of 1819. No response. It'd be Florida. The U.S. purchased Florida from Spain at that time for $5 million. And the Adams is John Quincy Adams, who was James Monroe's Secretary of State. Toss-up, going for a 10-pointer. What type of clause is used in the following sentence? We all know the price that she expects for her vineyard. Dieruff, Erica.
The noun clause?
Incorrect. Over to Liberty. Toss-up, no conferring. Christopher.
An adjective clause.
It is an adjective clause. Bonus 10-pointer for you and the team. Jeffrey, you got 5 on the rebound. This is a multiple choice. The Medicis and Sforzas played a significant part in the Renaissance as which one of the following? Were they painters? Were they scientists who furthered medical research? Were they rulers of Italian cities and patrons of culture? Or were they military leaders whose conquest spread the Renaissance to Northern Europe? Jeffrey?
C.
C is rulers of Italian cities and patrons of culture. That is correct. Again, the Medicis and the Sforzas. Going for a 10-pointer. Toss up. Cumulus clouds, seen in the summer, often appear to have flat bottoms. What common atmospheric phenomenon described by a 4-syllable term is taking place at that level? There's no response. The answer would be condensation. They're low-altitude clouds and essentially made up of water, or they're what you call a mixed cloud. We're going to take a halftime break now with the score at half, 60 for Liberty and 5 for Dieruff. During our first round, we ask our contestants to tell us about their families. We're going to begin with Christopher Ware, and would you please tell us about your family?
My mother is employed by WLVT, and I have no brothers or sisters.
Okay, thank you, Christopher. I know we knew that here. We have not shown Christopher the questions. Here, Mason Webb.
My father is a banker. My mother manages a dry cleaning store, and I have 2 brothers, Bucky and Paul.
Okay, thank you, Mason. The captain, Jeffrey Hittinger.
My father is a Lutheran minister. My mother is a secretary. My older sister is a sophomore at Muhlenberg College, and my younger brother and sister attend Clearview Elementary School.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Jonathan Troutman.
My father's an ophthalmologist, and my mother's a homemaker and a graduate student at Moravian College. I have 2 brothers and a sister.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks to Liberty. Let's go over to Dieruff and begin with Gary Plessel.
My mother is a budget analyst in the nuclear department at PP&L, and my father is a product manager at AT&T, and I have a sister, Karen, who is a junior at Moravian College.
Thank you, Gary. Captain Dana Lair.
My father's an abuse intake supervisor for Lehigh County. My mother's a homemaker. I have an older sister who's attending Muhlenberg College as a freshman, and a younger sister who's 5th grade at Harum-Dottam Elementary School.
Thanks, Dana. Erica Olander.
My father is the warden of Northampton County Prison. My mother is a homemaker and freelance artist. And my sister is an artistic director at Stegler, Wells & Brunswick in Bethlehem.
Thanks, Erica. And finally, Eric Tesh.
My mother is employed with the Salisbury School District, and I'm an only child.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Thanks to Dieruff and to Liberty. Again, the score at half is 60 for Liberty, 5 for Dieruff. Still a very close contest. Make up ground quickly in this. Let's go with our first toss-up. We're looking at a 15-point bonus. What famous military siege began February 23rd, 1836, and ended March 6, 1836? Liberty Mason.
The Alamo?
Correct, in San Antonio, Texas. Here's your bonus, 15-pointer, Jeffrey. For 5 points each, identify the country in which each of the following took place. The first one, the Boxer Rebellion in 1899-1900. Jeffrey?
China.
Correct. The Sepoy Rebellion or Sepoy Mutiny in 1857-1858. Jeffrey?
India.
Correct. That resulted in the transfer of the government from the British East India Company to the British government. Here's your last one. The rebellions of 1837 and 1838, which were attempts to limit harsh British rule. Jeffrey?
Ireland.
Not Ireland. It would be Canada. There were a couple of rebellions in Canada which were working against the British Crown, or at least their rule. Here we're going for a 10-point bonus, your toss-up. Identify the ancient Roman poet who wrote Metamorphoses, a collection of tales. That would be Ovid, who lived 43 BC to AD 17. Again, Ovid. Toss-up. Last week, President Reagan and President-elect George Bush held a luncheon meeting with First Secretary Mikhail Gorbachev. The meeting took place on a small island in the New York harbor. Give me the name of the island. Dieruff, Eric.
Governor's Island.
Correct, Eric. And your bonus, Dana, for you and the team, 10-pointer. The Soviet Republic of Armenia is in the headlines because of last week's devastating earthquake. However, prior to the earthquake, Armenia was making news because of its debate over the status of a small sliver of land claimed by both Armenia and its neighboring republic. For 10 points, give me the name of the neighboring republic. Dana?
The Gama Strip.
No, it would be Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan. Going for a 10-point bonus toss-up. From what popular Gilbert and Sullivan musical is this quotation derived? I'm very well acquainted, too, with matters mathematical. I understand equations, both simple and... Liberty, Jeffrey.
Pirates of Penzance.
You are correct. I understand equations, both simple and quadratical. About binomial theorem, I'm teeming with a lot of news, with many cheerful facts about the square of the hypotenuse, written in 1879. Gilbert and Sullivan. Bonus 10-pointer. Fans of which operetta creators are known as Savoyards? Jeffrey?
No response.
That would be Gilbert and Sullivan. So-called Savoyards, S-A-V-O-Y-A-R-D-S, so-called from the Savoy Theatre in London, where the operettas were first performed. Here's your toss-up, going for a 15-pointer. Digitalis is used to treat the disease of what organ? It would be heart disease. And digitalis comes from the dried leaves of the foxglove. Another toss-up, going for a 10-point bonus. Give the value of the irrational number e, which is the base to which Neperian logarithms are calculated. I want that value to 3 places. Liberty, Jonathan.
2.71.
I'm not going to accept. We'll go over to Dieruff. It's a toss-up. No conferring. Dana?
2.713.
No, that's also incorrect. Jonathan, I wanted three decimal places. You gave me 2.71. I was kind of waiting for the third, and Dana did give me the third, but it's incorrect. It's 2.718, correct to 3 decimal places. We're going to another toss-up, looking at a 10-point bonus. Identify the African country formerly called the Gold Coast until Britain gave it independence. Liberty, Mason.
The Ivory Coast.
Incorrect. I'm going to read it for Dieruff. It's a toss-up rebound, no conferring. Identify the African country formerly called the Gold Coast until Britain gave it independence in 1957. Dana?
Morocco?
Incorrect. Not Morocco. It's Ghana. Another toss-up. Going for a 10-pointer. Name the literary work from the Mideast in which one of the stories tells of the Sultan who continues to delay killing a beautiful young woman because she continues telling him wonderful tales of yore, long gone before. Dieruff, Erica.
Tales from Arabian Nights.
You are correct. The Arabian Nights, also known as the 1001 Nights. Here's your bonus, a 10-pointer. For 5 points each, what are the 2 creatures whose body parts are combined in the mythological beast known as the griffin? Dana.
A lion and an eagle?
Correct. The head and wings are those of an eagle, and the body is that of a lion. Going for a 10-pointer toss-up. Name the theory that deals with the mechanics of continental drift. Liberty, Christopher.
Plate tectonics.
Correct, Christopher. And your bonus 10-pointer, Jeffrey. For 10 points, how many hydrogen atoms are there in each molecule of CYCLOHEXANE, cyclohexane? Jeffrey?
6.
Not 6. The formula is C6H12. I wanted to read that because there is a cyclohexene, which is C6H10. Here's your toss-up. It's going to be, I think, on the monitor. It is there on the monitor. In simplest form, what is the second term in the expansion of the quantity x minus y raised to the 8th power? There's no response. You don't have to calculate all that. It's a negative 8 times x to the 7th y. Negative 8x 7th y. Another toss-up. Give the name for the 11th to 13th century campaigns that were waged to win back the Holy Land. Dieruff, Eric.
The Crusades.
Correct. Here's your bonus 10-pointer. For 5 points apiece, Dana. For 5 points apiece, identify both the northernmost and the southernmost national capitals in the world. No response from the Dieruff team. It would be the northernmost is Reykjavik, Iceland, and the southernmost is Wellington, New Zealand. Remember, you do not get penalized for wrong answers on bonuses. Here's your toss-up. Name the Greek runaway slave who, according to legend, extracted a thorn from the paw of a lion that later showed the slave affection when the two met again in the Roman arena. Androcles and the lion. Another toss-up. What 4 words follow in this quote by Douglas MacArthur? Old soldiers never die. Liberty, Christopher.
They just fade away.
Correct. I now close my military career and just fade away. Addressed to a joint meeting of Congress in April 1951. Here's your bonus 10-pointer, Jeffrey. For 5 points each, name the individual who was Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court when the court rendered verdicts on each of the following cases. The first case, Marbury versus Madison. Jeffrey?
J.
Incorrect. Not John Jay. John Marshall. Second one, Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka. Jeffrey?
Warren.
Correct. Earl Warren. That was delivered in 1954. Racial segregation. A landmark case. Going for a 15-point bonus. What's the name of the U.S.'s gold bullion coins being issued for the first time in 50 years? It's the American Eagle. We discontinued, it was withdrawn from circulation in 1934, and we're recirculating it. Here's your toss-up going for a 15-pointer. In which state on the plains of Yucca Flat has the U.S. been testing nuclear devices? Nevada. Going for a 10-pointer toss-up. What biblical name for an outcast was used by Herman Melville for a central character? No response. Ishmael. Another toss-up going for a 15-pointer. Which New England state did George Washington refer to as the provision state because of the large quantities of supplies it provided for the colonial army during the Revolutionary War? Connecticut, the provision state. Toss-up. Going for a 10-pointer. What's the English meaning of the informal German question, wie geht's? Dieruff, Dana.
How are you?
You are correct, and we're going to give you a bonus 10-pointer. For 5 points each, Dieruff, identify the following, each of which begins with the letter D as in dog, the German word for Germany. Dana.
Deutschland.
Correct. The phrase for burial, especially at sea. Dana?
No response.
Deep six. Toss-up, going for a 10-pointer. These Nazi concentration camps were all located in what country? Flossenburg, Sachsenhausen, Buchenwald, Ravensbrück, Belsen, and Dachau. That's the final buzzer. There's no response to the question. I'll give the answer to that question. It is Germany. We have a final score of 95 for Liberty and 60 for Dieruff. Dieruff, Dana, you and the team, we appreciate your being here, and Gary, Dana, and Eric, we wish you success for the remainder of the academic year and also in college. Erica, we hope to see you here again next year. Liberty, we congratulate you. You now are going on to the second round, and it'll occur on television in March, and you'll be going against the winner of next week's contest, which is Pius X and Jim Thorpe High Schools. This is Harry Price. Thank you for being with us, and good night.
Funding for Scholastic Scrimmage is provided by the Air Products Foundation. The foundation is supported by donations from Air Products and Chemicals Incorporated as a charitable organization whose contributions provide support for educational, cultural, health, and community programs in the Lehigh Valley. The series is also made possible by Channel 39 School Services participating districts. On Tuesday at 8 p.m., NOVA, Channel 39's award-winning science series, will report on the latest research in